National. I am Charles Alpha with the news. But first, let's look at some of our top stories. Vice President Shettima declares 2024 African Caucus meeting open. Correspondent takes a look at day 2 of nationwide protests. Americans freed in Russia, prisoners swap reunite with families. And Minister of Defense says Nigeria-China bilateral relations geared towards addressing common challenges. The Nigerian government is undertaking bold economic policies to propel the country's economy out of the downturns occasioned by multiple shocks in the global economy. President Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, stated this when he declared open the 2024 African Caucus meeting in Abuja. A State House correspondent, Abdraman Jibrila, reports.
We invite you in this meeting to see the African mandatory financial institutions as key channels for enhanced domestic resource mobilization.
This meeting with representatives from all Africa member countries of the International Monetary Fund and World Bank Group aims to address key economic issues facing the continent with a focus on promoting trade within Africa to foster sustainable development. Nigeria called for cooperation among African countries to tackle their shared economic challenges and take advantage of the opportunities.
This focus offers a vital platform for us to share experiences, forge partnerships, and chart a collective path forward. Africa's story is one of resilience, creativity, and hope. Indeed, we have made significant strides in recent years, with many of our nations achieving remarkable economic growth, social progress, and political stability.
Facilitating intra-African trade, catalyst for sustainable development in Africa, countries on the continent must take necessary measures to translate opportunities in natural resources and human capital into growth, innovation, and collaboration.
It's time to tackle the root causes, and much of that lies in the international financial architecture. Access to our economies must be had to long-term concessional funding. Others have had it, and it is Africa's turn to be given the right to grow and to prosper for its people. We have the opportunity to drive change, and by doing so, progress towards a vibrant and sustainable future.
The role of regional trading blocs can play in getting member countries to synchronize their reforms and investments necessary to boost intra-continental trade. While these strategies are commendable, it is important that we move beyond theoretical discussions and actively translate them into tangible actions.
The demographics of Africa present tremendous economic potential that must be cultivated to take advantage, particularly of intra-African trade opportunities, and to transform and develop our economies and our region.
This is also an opportunity to brainstorm on major challenges and strategies for fostering inclusive growth and sustainable development in Africa, reflecting the collective commitment of member countries to moving the continent forward economically. In Abuja, Abdraman Jibrila, NTA News.
The Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badar Abubakar, has commended the bilateral relations between Nigeria and China that have grown significantly over the years, with both nations working together to pursue common interests in addressing common challenges. The minister gave the commendation during the 97th anniversary of the founding of the Chinese People's Liberation Army at the Chinese Embassy, Abuja. He noted that the robust partnership, particularly in the area of military cooperation, training, and technology transfer, has been critical to both nations, with shared efforts to build a stronger and more capable military institutions. The ECOWAS Parliament has attributed the rising wave of plastic waste menace in the region to lack of adequate infrastructure for collection, sorting and processing facilities, promising to find a workable solution to it. This was during the opening of the delocalized meeting of the Jointly Committee on Agriculture, Environment and Natural Resources holding in Wenima, Ghana. The ECOWAS correspondent Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports.
Environmentalists say the effect of plastic pollution in the ecosystem is unbearable, which poses a significant threat to livelihood. Statistics shows that out of 17 million tons of plastic waste annually generated in ECOWAS countries, only 10% is recycled. This meeting by the Joint Committee seeks to provide a workable solution in production and management of plastic waste in ECOWAS member states. A 5-point action plan against plastic waste management was proposed at the meeting.
Our region, the cradle of vibrant cultures and exceptional natural resources, faces a significant environmental challenge that threatens our development and collective well-being, the proliferation of plastic waste.
The role of this joint committee is therefore crucial in ensuring that various sectors of the economy foster the needed synergies in a well-coordinated manner to promote environmental sustainability.
All we need to do is to have a harmonized legislature, to invest in waste management.
We advanced with innovative solutions like Safisana and Ricoplast. We united across borders to implement harmonized legislation. We innovated to transform our waste into opportunities.
Members believe that the theme Plastic Waste Management, Challenges and Prospects in the Implementation of Community Activities will go a long way in ensuring friendly environment and control the production and marketing of plastic containers within the sub-region. Mohammed Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
In other news, 3 Americans who were freed in a prisoner swap deal with Russia, including Wall Street journalist reporter Evan Gershkovich, have arrived back on U.S. soil. Mr. Gershkovich, 32, was one of 16 prisoners swapped for 8 Russian prisoners in what has been described as the biggest exchange since the end of the Cold War between Russia and the West. The exchange at an airfield in Tokyo also included the release of former U.S. Prime Marine Paul Whelan and Russian-American journalist Alsu Kolmasheva. After touching down at Joint Base Andrews in Maryland, Mr. Gershkovich, Kolmasheva and Mr. Whelan emerged from the jet to cheers from those on the tarmac. Receiving the release, Russian detainees, President Vladimir Putin announced that the servicemen who returned as part of a major exchange deal with Western countries will be presented with state honors. Reports say that Russian President Vladimir Putin had signed a decree pardoning 13 foreign nationals serving sentences in the country to return Russians detained abroad as part of large-scale Russia-West prisoner exchange deal. Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan says the newly launched electric train route from Dar es Salaam to Dodoma will eventually connect to other regions and countries. She says it is aimed at boosting the efficiency of Tanzania's major port and improve the country's regional business and trade.
Speaking in Dodoma during the official launch of the electric powered train services from Dar es Salaam to Dodoma, President Samia says the construction of the modern train service will be a stimulant to revamp other railway lines like Tanzania-Zambia Railways Tazara and Central Line.
Bodi na management ya TRC muweke vile vigezo vya utendaji wa kazi. Our investment in SGR does not mean that commissions are forgetting about Tazara, because the government is in the final stages of reviving the Tazara Railway to meet our needs and expectations so that Tazara and the Central Railways can support Freightons and SGR.
She has furthermore ordered the ministry responsible for transport to ensure timely completion of marine projects and other remaining SGR phases. President Samia Suluhu Hassan concurred TRC Director General's proposition to name the Dodoma SGR station after her name, concluding by her speech by naming other remaining stations after several former presidents.
Now, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, says the military will not fold its arms and watch the destruction of lives and property ongoing in the nationwide protests. The Chief of Defense Staff stated this while addressing journalists on the ongoing nationwide protests, stressing that peace and development cannot be achieved in a state of anarchy.
Clearly, the security forces have done extremely very well, especially the Nigerian police force, have shown a lot of professionalism, including where members of the armed forces had to step in. But you can see that we have remained very professional in our conduct and will continue to do that, as long as the citizens also understand that there's a difference between peace and criminality. We are supporting the police all through, but we are just on standby. The police is doing a good job. They're handling the situation for now. And unless if it breaks beyond what they can handle, then the military will step in. And the military is on standby and we're watching day and night.
General Christopher Musa commended the police and other security agencies for their conduct during the protests. And situation reports from across the country on day 2 of the nationwide protest show that business is picking up in states that experienced violence Thursday, while there was orderliness in other parts of the country where protesters came out. Usman Zubairu put together these reports.
In Abuja, the nation's capital, reports from across the city show a relative calmness as people are returning to business amid tight security for the second day. Some protesters converged outside the gate of the National Stadium to partake in the ongoing 10 days nationwide protest. Joseph Ottens, who was at the Moshid Abiola Stadium, reported that the number of protesters was, however, less than that of Thursday. Security personnel were on ground to ensure law and order. In Borno State, Security Council reviewed the ongoing curfew imposed to prevent infiltrations of Boko Haram and ISWAP elements. The curfew will now continue from 3 p.m. on Friday to 6 a.m. on Saturday, after which people are expected to go about their normal businesses. Correspondent in Benin Kebbi, the Kebbi State capital, reports that the situation on Friday is calm as people are now going about their normal businesses. In Anambra State capital, residents have returned to their normal activities as against what happened on day 1 of the protest, where human and vehicular activities were at lowest ebb. This is also the situation in Enugu on the 2nd, as some business premises are open, while people are going about their normal businesses without any fear or molestation. The Ondo State Governor Loki Aidetiwa has expressed gratitude to the people for their peaceful conduct amid nationwide protests. The people of the state maintain their usual ordinance, continue their civic and economic activities without any security incident on the first day of the nationwide protest. A report from Lagos says Lekki Toll Gate is devoid of protesters as security personnel are on standby to maintain law and order. At Maryland Ikeja, the environment is calm with increased vehicular movement and individuals gradually returning back to their various activities. Similarly, normal activities have continued in Yola, the capital city of Adamawa State, as markets, schools and offices are open for their daily engagements. Usman Zubairu, NTA News.
Now back in Abuja, the Wuse Market and the Paula Banex Plaza experienced a calm Friday evening despite the ongoing nationwide protest. Shop owners are hopeful that business will resume normal soonest. Although protesters were not in view, security was beefed up at various noticeable junctions to maintain law and order. A correspondent, Hawa Jimba, reports.
Tour of various roads in the Federal Capital Territory reveals a sense of calm, hinting that the protest may be waning. However, it is unclear if this tranquility will hold. In our interactions with FCT residents, they emphasize the need for government to engage with protesters and address their grievances.
But it's not that the protesters, they have stopped. It still continue. But if the president cannot come in out to come and speak what the need of Nigerian citizens, I think the protesters will continue.
Visit local markets shows that management is taking no chances, keeping the premises under lock and key to prevent potential losses.
What we want to tell from government, because this sufferness is too much. See me, I just there for outside. They don't allow us to sell. If I go market, buy something, it get cost.
Yesterday, the streets, vendors or shops were all closed, plazas were all closed, but at least today we have seen a different whereby shops by the roadside are open. Petty traders by the roadside are also performing their duties today. The only thing we are looking at is the markets. And markets, for now, are mostly closed.
We are still watching the situation. We don't want to rush and open markets, and if anything happens, we'll start running helter-skelter. So we are taking our time to watch the situation before we open the markets.
As Nigerians eagerly await government intervention, security operatives remain vigilant, working to maintain peace and order. The situation remains fluid and only time will tell if the calm will persist. Hawagimba, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. We will take a break now. Stay with us.
In a land of peace and harmony, we cherish our freedom and unity. But around the world, we've seen how protests can spiral into chaos. What starts as a peaceful protest can sometimes end in anarchy, tearing communities apart.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days.
So those who experienced it will run away from it.
Let's learn from these experiences. Let's value dialogue over destruction. Together, we can build a brighter future. Let's choose unity. Let's choose peace. Join us in the Peaceful Future Initiative, because together we can make a difference.
This season, enjoy all the better moments with GoTV. Your football party GoTV, they give you better deal of decoder plus GoTenna for only 19,900 naira. Make you enjoy correct football action live on Top Super Sport. GoTV.
Staying with us, Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf has warned against the escalation of the hunger protest and backed upon by some Nigerians as hoodlums have started taking advantage of that to carry out their nefarious activities. Addressing a cross-section of protesters in the Kano Government House, the governor also appealed for more patience as the government is working towards making life better for Nigerians. Abdullahi Mustafa has the details.
It started peacefully in the early hours of the day. Shortly, however, hoodlums joined, looting and vandalizing public assets. At the entrance to the Kano Government House, security personnel repelled attempts by some protesters to force themselves into the premises. Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf thereafter came out to listen to them. While urging them to remain law-abiding, the governor assured that appropriate action will be taken by the government to address the situation.
So I know where the problem is, and I know where you want the information to go. I thank you most humbly.
Governor Yusuf also appealed to parents to prevent their children from joining the protest in view of the negative consequences the activities of hoodlums may cause in the process. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Senator representing the Federal Capital Territory, Ireti Kingibe, has expressed shock over a video being circulated allegedly linking her to the ongoing national protest. In a statement, Senator Ireti explained that the video, which was more than 6 weeks ago, was from her engagement alongside Peter Obi with protesters from NLC during a Labour Party National Working Committee meeting outside the Labour Party office. She adds that Peter Obi is not in Abuja and she has not stepped out of her house since Wednesday due to ill health. The increasing rate of building collapse and attendant impact on the economy and livelihoods has now necessitated the stringent environment of the National Building Code and Policy. This was the view of panelists at a national stakeholders workshop of the Nigerian Society of Engineers in Abuja. Calvin Egunayi reports.
Drawn from different segments of the construction industry, the panelists analyzed extensively the state of affairs in the sector, especially incessant building collapse in the country. They agreed that the country now requires establishment of testing laboratories in every state for quality assurance of building materials to guarantee safety.
And infrastructure cannot continue to be sustainable without, corresponding maintenance. So what we continue to do is to advise, the authorities that there is need to, devote certain funds within every budget year to maintain the infrastructure that are provided for the public.
Holistically, at the strategies we've employed over the years, and look at how we can change the strategy to bring a lasting solution to the issue of poor materials used in the construction industry.
A point also emphasized by the Director General of the Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute, Professor Samson Donia.
So what we were able to do is to identify that this substandard material is inferior, but we can get it better by ensuring that material that meets up the specification is utilized.
The Stakeholders Workshop is an initiative of the Nigerian Society of Engineers Abuja branch to create a platform for finding solutions to the nation's development challenges. In Abuja, Kelvin Ewonwaye, NTA News.
Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, COREN, has postponed its 32nd Engineering Assembly, earlier scheduled to begin from the 5th to 7th of August 2024. The annual event will now hold from the 2nd to the 4th of September 2024. Professor Sadiq Zubairu Abubakar, in an address to newsmen on the new date, said it is only logical, absolutely necessary, and in the best interest of the participants all around the world because of the ongoing nationwide protest. Every other arrangements made for the 32nd Engineering Assembly, the President said, remains the same, including venue, and regrets the inconvenience the change may have caused.
We are compelled, so we are actually shifting the event exactly by 1 month. From 5th to 7th August, we are now shifting and fixing a new date to the 2nd to 4th of September.
The council, Professor Sadiq Abubakar, said, stands in solidarity with both government and the people, praying for normalcy to return soon.
I want to appeal to our brothers and sisters across the country to please promote dialoguing and consensus on issues that borders our country in this very challenging time.
COREN's Engineering Assembly is an annual event designed to bring together all engineering practitioners made up of technologists, technicians, craftsmen, as well as consulting firms in both public and private sectors to rub minds on national development. And Regulatory Enforcement Agency, Nigeria, has reiterated the government's commitment to protecting Nigeria's rich biodiversity and natural heritage. Director General of the agency, Dr. Innocent Bariko, stated this during the official unveiling of the sculpture of an elephant crafted from ashes and dust of incinerated pangolin scales and pulverized elephant tusks, christened Giwa Statue of Renewed Hope by the Minister of State for Environment, Dr. Isiaq Salako. On behalf of the federal government at the National Park, Maynard Daniels has the details.
This might just be an elephant sculpture, but it is a powerful symbol which marks a significant turning point in Nigeria's efforts to combat the trafficking of endangered wildlife, a task that is so dear to the National Environmental Standards and Regulatory Enforcement Agency, NESRA, as it is for the federal government.
We also know that recently we signed a bilateral agreement with Cameroon because the route from Cameroon through Nigeria is also a transit border for the smuggling of these wildlife parts. So we already signed an agreement with Cameroon and we're cooperating in sharing information to ensure that we discourage these practices.
Beyond that is also the fact that we need to begin to convince our people that we live in a cohabiting world and that all these species are part of the ecosystem.
The unveiling ceremony brought together stakeholders from the National Park, National Biosafety Agency, National Forestry Research Institute, among others, who were reminded of the need for synergy to curb the excesses of illegal poachers, while calling on customs service to help intercept and stop illegal trafficking of endangered species.
So you find out that the Nigerian Customs Service are being in the ports. Most of the time are the ones that do the first seizure. Sometimes when they see illegal wildlife parts or illegal animals, even sometimes live animals that are being smuggled out, they have the responsibility to inform us.
NESRA reiterated its determination to sustain the tempo in enforcing all illegal poaching, as well as keep Nigeria's part of the bargain on all treaties regarding curbing illegal poaching. In Abuja, Minna Daniels, NTA News.
We'll now take a look at our weather prospect for Saturday and other parts of the world. That's how it's been on the news. Many thanks for watching. Hi, I'm Charles Alpha.